Hi everyone, this is Heidi, and I'm going to share the story of the mighty oak tree that used to be growing here right where I'm sitting. You can see it behind me. There it is. We had to cut it down this past week because it had died of oak wilt. Unfortunately, we live in a place where we have a whole family of oaks around us here. These are all of its relatives there, and we have oak wilt on the land, which is a fungus that travels through the roots and spreads from tree to tree. And so sadly, we had to cut this tree down. But it will, of course, provide a lot of firewood for my family to keep us warm this winter. So one of the things that happened in cutting it down, we were able to see something that you can't see when the tree is alive and standing and growing. And I'm sitting here on the stump. This is the stump here, and I can see all the rings. And so I was able to count just now how old this tree was, and I counted 95 rings. So this tree was almost a century old. Pretty incredible that I try to imagine what it would have seen in that 100 years. So what I found on the ground right next to this tree was this, and I think most of you know that this is, oh, there's a mosquito too. This is called an acorn, and this is a seed for another mighty oak tree. So the amazing thing about these seeds is that inside this tiny thing there's all the information that's needed to grow another huge oak tree. So when that mosquito is gonna bite me, so when this seed gets planted, like the seed for this mighty oak that I'm sitting on right now, 95 years ago, it probably either fell from the tree or perhaps another creature, maybe a squirrel, grabbed it and scurried down into the earth, into the soil, like what we were talking about last week, the soil. It planted this seed into the soil, and the seeds will only germinate in the darkness. And so when it gets enough moisture in that darkness, it'll start to send out a little root down into the earth. And then after that, it'll send a shoot up to the sky. Oh, that mosquito. So plants, so trees and plants are one of the amazing creatures on earth that their very nature defies gravity, right? They reach up toward the light, toward the sun, towards the warmth. And and the other amazing thing about trees and plants is that they grow where they are rooted, right? Wherever their seed starts to grow, unless a human comes along and transplants it and moves it to another place. That's really it. That's where the tree lives its entire life. And that's not like that for us. For us humans, right? We get to walk around and move from place to place. And oftentimes our families, our ancestry is from somewhere very different than where we live. So this week we're going to be talking about trees and their roots, but also our own family roots, our own ancestry. And so I invite you to trace your roots back as far as you can, whether it's a couple generations or more, and and to also imagine, if you don't know your own indigenous roots, to also imagine a time when your own ancestors lived very intimately connected with the planet. And we all have indigenous roots, and many of us don't know those roots anymore because it's been so far removed from our current life. So if you don't know your indigenous roots, I invite you to imagine, where on planet Earth did your ancestors live in a way that was deeply connected with the earth. So that's our adventure for the week. I look forward to hearing your stories.